Hello friends, and welcome to this seasonal special of Retro Respawn. No doubt for many of you, the Commodore 64 and Yuletide cheer go together like turkey and stuffing, having once happily received your beloved bread bins on Christmas morning, you lucky devils. Now, despite being the most popular and profitable holiday of the year, particularly for video games manufacturers, very few developers even bother with Christmas-themed games, presumably due to their limited seasonal appeal. More often then is the case that festively themed games are the work of smaller developers or homebrew programmers. And the Commodore 64 was no exception, as over its life and beyond it has seen a plethora of Yuletide fare, often made by fans or cynical budget software houses looking to cash in on the season's cheer. So, unsurprisingly, the variation in quality between them is immense. For every timeless classic, expect a handful more to be worse than Boxing Day Brussels sprouts. In this video, we'll check out just a few of them. There are obviously too many to go through in one sitting, so instead let's consider this the equivalent of taking a random handful of Quality Street and hoping that there are more big purple ones than the rancid blue coconut ones that everyone leaves until last. So let's take a look at 5 festive games for the Commodore 64. Presumably in protest of the Amazon-like working conditions of the grotto, the elves have taken revenge on Santa by lacing his Christmas puddings with wine. So now he's pissed as a newt and drunk in charge of his sleigh. Yeah, it's not much of a plot, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Basically, the aim is to survive a constant barrage of attacks from airborne baubles, toys, turkeys and candy in a hectic Yuletide-themed shoot-'em-up with all the difficulty of Gradius. There's nothing else to it, no higher purpose to your odyssey across the wintry skies, just shoot as many things as you can and try not to die. Inexplicably, Santa's sleigh comes equipped with a cannon capable of firing all manner of festive ammunition such as crackers, wreaths and Christmas puds. At the end of each level, as is the tradition for a shoot-'em-up, you face off against a boss such as this conjoined pair of snow people. Literally everything kills you, including the terrain, making for an incredibly hazardous environment, worsened by the small screen boundary, hemming you in while you get another lethal bauble in the face. The music by Mark Wilson, I don't know who that is, I just got his name from the credits, elevates things a little bit with a handful of Christmas ditties nicely reproduced by the SID chip. It's quite short though, 3 levels in all, so its toughness might be to make up for that. And your reward for slogging through it all is a measly message congratulating you before sending you back to the start. But they do wish you a happy Christmas, so that's nice. It's too tough and too short, and no amount of excellent music is going to compensate for that. I'll give it 3 Christmas puddings out of 5. What is it with Christmas games and naff titles, eh? The dubiously named Christmas Crazy is an action puzzle game in which you take control of a gremlin-looking creature named Fuzzy as he takes up an internship at Santa's grotto. The object of the game is to drop presents into their colour-corresponding boxes as they whiz across the conveyor belt below. Now, you've got to question the efficacy of a packing facility that adopts this system, but I'll just have to ignore this for now. Match the coloured presents to their boxes and don't miss. If you naff it out 5 times, Fuzzy is out on his arse. It's elegantly simple, at least it would be were it not for this little git at the bottom of the screen, who spitefully lobs snowballs at you, which can stun you briefly. Each level requires you to correctly package 30 presents, and as you progress, there are more colours to sort and more frequent visits from that snowball lobbing saboteur to dodge. It offers a fair challenge. Timing is crucial to get the drops right, while you gotta keep moving to avoid getting a face full of paralysing slush. The time limit is generous, which makes early stages enjoyably easy. However, it has limited appeal despite the nice graphics and music, and the limited gameplay, while offering a fun challenge initially, soon becomes quite tedious. Chances are you'll probably play this for about half an hour before looking for something less repetitive to do. I'll give it 3 Christmas puddings out of 5. The imaginatively titled Santa Claus sees you taking the part of, you guessed it, Santa Claus. Again, as you guide his sled through the sky, dodging hazards, this time in the form of trees, flagpoles and various aircraft, while you kindly bomb every home you see with candy canes in flagrant disregard for either diabetics or the potential for shattered windows. I mean, look at the size of those things. Those are definitely going to do someone in. How unfair is that? Some kid looks forward all year to a PS5 in his stocking, only to wake up and find a giant boiled sweet has impaled his entire family. You have no other objective but to deliver as many candy canes as you can before the timer runs out, so in this respect it's a sort of airborne Yuletide paperboy. Clashing with any objects depletes your timer, so the challenge is in remaining largely untouched while successfully bombarding houses with solidified glucose for maximum points. It's not as appealing as it should be, due to sludgy controls and quite frankly unfair level design, forcing you into gaps far too small to make it through. The music, again reworked Christmas fare, is just dull and repetitive this time around, adding to the drudgery of it all. If high score challenges are your thing, then go ahead and give it a bash, but it has limited replayability and naff graphics and sound, so I doubt you'll stay for long. Santa Claus gets 2 Christmas puddings out of 5. Wait a minute, weren't we doing Commodore 64 games? This festive Boulder Dash clone may run on the C64, but it looks identical to the Commodore 16 version, which I have covered before. The only thing that gives the C64 version away is the distinctive music courtesy of the SID sound chip. Right, so for this one you are once again a beleaguered Father Christmas who must venture into the snowy wastes of the North Pole to retrieve and rebuild pieces of toys which have been scattered about the place for reasons that are never explained. Each time you complete a toy, you open the exits to a choice of new levels and repeat the process. But there are hazards aplenty to foil you. There are the customary snowballs to navigate, which will flatten you if you're not careful, deadly blizzards which quickly fill the screen, as well as polar bears that'll eat your face, and vacationing penguins that'll similarly ruin your Christmas. It's an effective mix of puzzle, collect 'em up and action, even if it's all been seen before, but eventually the difficulty reaches an insurmountable peak, either giving you an insufficient time limit or saddling you with too many hazards to contend with at once, rendering it uncompletable and ultimately futile. Looking identical to its Commodore 16 cousin is unforgivable too. It just smacks of laziness on the part of the programmers, who could have done more than just giving the music a facelift, which personally I don't like as much as the lower spec version. It's a decent enough Boulder Dash variant, but its difficulty curve is likely to put you off. The Commodore 16 version is better. 3 Christmas puds out of 5. The newest game on the list, released in 2020, pits you and an opponent against each other in a furious snowball fight. Play against the computer or a second player and knock your opponent down 5 times to be crowned the winner. You can hold up to 6 snowballs at a time, and reloading is as simple as grabbing the snow up from the ground. Take cover behind snow people and the sleds that occasionally roll through, while flinging snowballs across the screen to splat your rival. The snow people barriers will break when hit, so move quickly to avoid getting iced and be careful of the presents that appear from time to time. They hold nothing good for you, as they will explode when they're hit. The premise may be sublimely simple, but there are some neat touches that add to the gameplay. Success calls for a combination of strategy and skill, as you must time your reloads so that you're not left vulnerable, while you have a fair degree of control over the trajectory of your snowballs, so landing a hit from cover is possible. If you play against the computer, I guarantee you'll get creamed the first half a dozen or so times until you get a feel for it, but the rapid fire gameplay means you're back into the action to try again almost immediately. It's this rapid fire action that gives it that just one more go quality. But that's all though. Play a match, win, lose, rinse, repeat. There's no difficulty curve or ultimate goal, it's just disposable deathmatch action. But you'll probably forgive it due to how charming it all is. Easily the best game in this selection, it's lots of fun, looks gorgeous and has plenty of replayability, if it's just a little shallow. 4.5 Christmas puddings. And that wraps it up for this video. If there are any Christmassy Commodore games that you feel deserve special mention, or if you've disagreed with any of my judgments here today, please drop me a comment. If you'd like to continue the merriment, Badger Punch Games, the makers of Snowdown, have kindly released a bundle of 15 DRM-free Commodore 64 games on itch.io for a generous low price of $5. That's a saving of 70%. This offer is available until the 31st of December, so don't miss out. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe for more, and click the bell to be notified of future new content. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider subscribing over on Patreon. Membership costs $1 and you'll get an on-screen credit as thanks in all future videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on Retro Respawn. And have a Merry Christmas.